Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're staring at a pocket. I'm sure you're wondering what the deal is with the pocket, or maybe not, because I obviously had to come up with a title for this video. So the discussion is going to be on women's pockets. Now, I realize it's 2022, so it's not just women wearing women's pants. You know, you do you. I'm just specifically focusing on pants that is designed for women overall. All right, this is something that I've heard women complain about for years. And even though the knife community is predominantly guys, there are ladies sprinkled among us. It's a very small portion of the community, but they're still there and growing. I think over time there's more and more women who are getting involved with the idea of carrying a knife every day, the idea of collecting them, the idea of using them, you know, so it's just kind of an interesting topic I want to touch upon because I've heard a lot of ladies complain about it. And, you know, over the years, even all the guys, you know, if you're, you know, a guy with a girlfriend or a guy with a wife and you're really into knives, chances are you've probably tried to push your hobbies onto them as well. Now, sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're not. But if you're really into a hobby, obviously you want to share that with the people you love. So it's still pretty common for a guy who's obsessed with knives to ask his wife or his girlfriend, like, hey, you want to carry this knife? Or hey, you should carry this pocket knife. Or hey, carry a knife. Where's your knife? So, and then sometimes, like I said, they just do not care, and other times they're like, all right, fine, I'll carry a knife for you. And then they do find out that it's actually pretty useful. So ladies' pockets, I don't know why, but for many, many years, women's pants pockets have been minuscule. So my wife was throwing out this pair of jeans. It was just getting old. It was one of her favorite pairs. It's unfortunate. I've had that experience where I had a favorite pair of pants and maybe got a rip in the knee or something like that, and you stitch it up, and then after a while it starts looking like Frankenstein with all the rips and maybe get a little stain here and there. It's just too far gone. So you're like, I just gotta throw them out. So that's what happened. But when she was throwing it out, I said to myself, wait a minute, let me cut the pocket out of that and do a video just like we're watching right now. Well, you're watching, I'm filming it. So I wanted to discuss this. Now, this is just a normal pair of women's pants. This happens to be a stretchy, tight material. It's not straight denim. Jeggings, I guess, is what it is. I mean, super common. But this is representing women's pockets overall. Now, if you guys are OG, you know, viewers of my channel, you'll remember I had my own pocket cut out. And sometimes when I was doing a knife video, I whip out the pocket just to show how it carries in the pocket. It was pretty convenient. At some point, I lost that. I don't know what happened to it. It got thrown out, or, you know, just it plain got lost, and so I stopped using it. But it's kind of an interesting concept. Maybe I'll do that again in the future if I'm throwing out more pants. All right, so before we get into the knives, which are off screen there, I have a variety of different knife sizes. Let's take a look at the actual pocket. All right, so it seems like a pretty formidable pocket. You know, it's got to be like maybe 5.5 inches by about 5 inches, something like that, right? This big square. Now, if you notice this other stitching here, that's actually for the fifth pocket, okay, the small one here. So my fingers, just to give you an idea, let me get my fingers way in there, okay? The fifth pocket actually does come all the way down, so it's about the length of my fingers, all right? And then obviously these happen to stretch just a little bit more than maybe a regular pair of denim, all right? And if I put my hand in the regular pocket here, all right, you can see, you know, how my hand kind of fits out. It almost fits most of my hand. It's small, you know, well, you can see about that much, right? So it seems like a pretty decent pocket. Now I have to assume, because I'm a bigger guy and I literally wear bigger pants, that the pockets are in fact bigger as well. I'm not 100% sure if, you know, a guy who weighs 110 pounds, if his pockets are as big as mine, but I can tell you my pockets are huge. When you see me do an EDC video and I have all my stuff spread out, I could literally have 3 times as much stuff that I show if I really filled all my pockets. The leg pockets, you know, both front pockets, both back pockets, the fifth pocket. If I really packed everything in there, it would look ridiculous. It would look like a chipmunk's mouth when it's all stuffed with food, you know. But yeah, they just hold so much more. So anyway, I mean, again, this is not a surprise to the women out there, especially if you're in like the EDC community and you started getting into gear and you want to start carrying knives. It's just difficult to fit things in your pockets. And what's even more ridiculous on women's pants, I don't know why they don't do this to men, but sometimes, especially on jeans, like on the back, so on the butt part of the jeans, sometimes it'll show like a seam like a pocket, and it's not actually a pocket. It'll show stitching and you go to put your hand there and there's nothing there. There's no pocket material behind it at all. All right, and you can't even stick your hand in there because it's literally sewn shut. So there's fake pockets, fake butt pockets, and in some cases, fake pockets on the front too. Like you're like, oh wow, that's a nice little pocket. And you go to stick your hand in there and there is no pocket. There's no material on the back at all. It's literally just looks like there's a pocket. Stupid, all right? It's not like they're saving money. In fact, women's clothes are more expensive than men's. Here's something really interesting. If you had never heard of pink tax, look it up. That is a real thing. Pink tax, P-I-N-K, I'm not pronouncing that properly, pink, you know, like the color. Steven Tyler's favorite color, as some of you know. Pink tax is the idea that they charge more money for women's clothes than men's of the same exact comparable materials and sizes and styles, simply because women spend more money than men. So they will raise the price. Like if you have a woman's t-shirt and a man's t-shirt, same exact size, same color, same image, the man's t-shirt might be like $6. The woman's might be $7 or $8. That's called pink tax. So Google that. That's actually a real thing in fashion because women just tend to spend more money on clothes than men. So anyway, let's get into some of the knives here. All right, so I just did a video on this one. This is the Spyderco Pride. Very interesting knife, but on the smaller size here. All right, so if I clip this in there, you can see it fits fine. This would be a knife you'd be able to carry in these particular pants. Now this does come all the way down to the bottom, all right, of this pocket. So this just fits fine, all right? And this will probably also fit in the fifth pocket totally fine as well. This pair of pants, the fifth pocket happens to be deeper than most fifth pockets that I've seen, but it still fills the entire fifth pocket, all right? So you can carry it in either one of those. Now, isn't that interesting that the depth of the fifth pocket is the same as the depth on the large pocket? For a man, you can almost guarantee that the fifth pocket is a lot smaller, and the regular full front pocket would be at least 1.5 to 2 times the size. All right, at least from my experience. All right, so let's put that guy over there. Let's try something a little bit bigger. All right, we have a Daggerr knife. Haven't carried this one in a while, but just kind of happened to grab it. It was on my desk. All right, and guess what? I'm bottomed out here. So I cannot, if I was a woman or if I was a dude wearing these pants, I can't clip that down in the pants pocket like I wanted. I just can't. It's only holding that much pocket clip. And you just wouldn't carry it that way. It'd be flopping around and eventually probably fall out. Let's try that fifth pocket. Get that material under there. And now we're bottomed out. It's literally the same deal. I think the length could literally be the same from here to here and then here to here. So yeah, that would look stupid. Probably wouldn't do that. Now we know women's pockets are bogus because first of all, I mean, cell phones are huge these days, but if you look at any woman who has a cell phone in their pocket, especially their back pocket, it's barely hanging in there. You know, I always feel like they're just going to fall out. I'm surprised we don't just hear phones falling everywhere when you're walking around in public, because ladies' phones are definitely not secure in your pockets. All right, so let's move on to another folder. There's a Wii model. Didn't show this yet. Doing some testing. I actually carried this the other day. Pop this guy in here. Nope. Bottomed out. So I'm getting not even half of the pocket clip here. Same deal with the fifth pocket. Let's try that real quick. Seems to fit a little bit better. I don't know if it's because I put it on an angle or not, but yeah, it fits actually a little bit better in the fifth pocket than it does the regular pocket. All right, it's a little smaller than that Daggerr. Let's try something, well, let's go big, or bigger, anyway. We have this knife, which I'll do a video on in the future, because I know you're gonna be like, what was that knife? Well, I'll tell you in the future sometime. All right, so this obviously has large guard area. This guy, well, if I actually, let me see, let me push all the way down to make sure that I don't curl up the front. That holds better than the other ones just because of the pocket clip position is a little lower on the knife there. All right, but because of the design, I'm not sure if it's even gonna fit in this fifth pocket. Well, these do stretch, but I'm not gonna, it would be too much of a pain. You probably wouldn't do that. All right, let's actually go bigger. You gotta go bigger. You gotta go cold steel. All right, here's a Voyager. So this guy if I was a lady wearing these pants and I wanted to carry this, I would not be able to clip it to my pocket, unfortunately. I guess you could just stick it in. Again, this would be like, you know, one of the new iPhones, just hanging out your lady pocket, your actual pocket. So let's go bigger, right? While we're on the topic of cold steel, let's just go ahead and get that massive a spotter, which is not even good. Is it going to fit in screen? Yeah. Yeah, if I hold it down here, it'll fit in screen. All right, so this is obviously a little ridiculous, but yeah, there's no way that's not gonna fit in your pocket, ladies. Sorry, if you want to EDC that in your front pocket, it's not happening. So yeah, these are just some different examples. Let's put these in size order, kinda, of some different options. Now, obviously, the last three here are probably more like what you're actually gonna carry. Now, if you look at women's choices for knives, overall, I do find that women tend to gravitate to smaller knives. Now, generally speaking, there's always exceptions. Every human being is different, but generally speaking, women's hands are smaller than men's hands. My wife has a much smaller hand than I have. So like when I'm handing her knives and I'll talk about ergonomics and stuff, maybe I'm just EDCing something. I'm like, hey, you gotta check this out. It's so comfortable. And then she'll grab it and she'll be like, it's not really that comfortable. And vice versa. And it always surprises me. I'm like, man, this is just not comfortable. And then she'll hold on to it and she'll be like, oh yeah, no, that's comfortable. What are you talking about? That feels really good, because her hands are totally different size than mine. All right, it does make a huge difference. So do women gravitate towards smaller knives because, I don't know, they're less intimidating for them? Is it because they just like them because they fit their hands better, because they generally have smaller hands than men? You know, does the pocket issue actually affect what women carry? If a woman wanted to carry a big cold steel or something, would she be forced to just carry it in the waistband or something? I mean, you can always do that. You can carry whatever you want. You know, the biggest, actually, we can even use the largest spotter here. All right, if you really want to carry it inside the waistband, you can do that. Obviously, you have your whole length of your leg up to your knee anyway, so you do want to still obviously bend your knee. But yeah, for a woman, that's the only way they can carry. There's no way you're going to get it in your pocket, so you'd have to conceal carry it, you know. It's just interesting. It's an interesting topic. It's something that not a lot of guys talk about, because not a lot of guys, have the issue. Maybe you're not familiar with it if you're a single dude. I'm sure most guys just understand women have small pockets, but for one reason or another. I'm sure the topic came up at some point, but if for some reason you didn't know that, well, now you do. Women have much smaller pockets than men in general, and I think that really does affect the choice of knife for them, which is really unfortunate. So they're kind of stuck with the smaller stuff. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to touch upon the subject a little bit. If you're a lady watching, please let everyone know in the comment section how you feel about this subject. Are you upset? Are you annoyed at the fact that maybe you want to carry some bigger knives and it's just not convenient? Or maybe you just want to carry other stuff. You know, guys have big, deep pockets. That's just how it goes. And women get stiffed in this department, and they do not. I actually saw a video, I want to say it was a year or two old. It might have even been before the pandemic. It's kind of like, BC. The pandemic, the 2020, spread of the virus is like a new reference for time, right? It's either pre-pandemic or post-pandemic. But I think it might have been pre. But I want to say it was, who was it? Mil-Spec Monkey. I think it was Mil-Spec Monkey. Did a whole video on tactical stuff and women's pants. I remember watching it and thinking it was hilarious, but it was so true, and he touched upon that subject. He's the only person in the, gear community, I'll throw quotes out there because it's all kinds of different, gear related channels, but he's the only person that ever touched upon that specifically. He made an entire video about it. So that's worth checking out sometime if you want, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Women's pants. I don't know what they're doing there. Small pockets, I guess, are still better than faux pockets. I still will not understand. I mean, for aesthetics, if you look at a woman's pants, right, and you look at her butt, yes, I'm sure plenty of you are already doing it anyway. Well, while you're there looking, notice their pockets. If you actually, and I've seen it only because I'm married. I know this stuff now because I'm married. If I was single, I don't know if I would know nearly as much about women's fashion and stuff, but the way a pocket is placed on a woman's jeans will actually change the shape of their butt. All right, so there's definitely certain pant styles that are more flattering. like if you have a pocket that's higher, you know, and especially now that the fashion is really high-waisted jeans. Like in the 90s, when I went to high school and stuff, girls' pants were low cut. That was the thing. It was the Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera era, right? So girls' jeans were really, really low, all right? And then when they, you know, squatted down, they would, you know, expose their butt and have their thong hanging out and stuff like that. That's just what it was. That was just the fashion, right? But now we went the opposite direction, just like phones. Phones were really, really big, and then we made them really small, and then we put screens on them, then we started making them really big again. There's fads, you know, it's transitions of things. But the mom jeans have definitely come back in style, if you haven't noticed that. Girls' jeans are just huge and baggy, but the waistband, instead of being super low on the hip, now it's so incredibly high, they're almost like overalls. You know what I'm saying? If you see these girls, and I think that's that was part of the fashion thing, was the really high jean and then a crop top shirt. So you have a really short shirt that shows off like midriff or belly, stomach area. Well, some girls have bellies hanging out, some girls have midriff. But that was the style. You know what I mean? That was the style, is to have really high pants and really short cut shirts. Whereas in the 90s, it was a little bit longer shirts and very, very low jeans. But hey, you know, when they're sitting in a room and designing women's clothes, I doubt someone's like, hey, you know, Bill, we have these pants going like this. Christy, what do you think about these pants? I mean, we have kind of a small pocket, and then someone's like, well, what if the woman wants to carry an Espada from Cold Steel? You know, no, obviously not. Not even a consideration. It's all about looks. It's about, you know, what's trending in fashion and stuff. But regardless of the color of the jeans, regardless of the shape, because now it's crazy. You know, I go shopping with my wife and I see like a lineup of a wall of jeans, and there's 8 different types of cuts. You know, boot cut and short cut and skinny jean and loose jean and mom jean and, you know, all kinds of things. It's really, really fascinating. The whole thing's fascinating. I just sit there like a husband, holding the bags, looking at stuff, puzzled face. It's actually funny how things have changed, because I remember being younger and making fun of the older people, and now I'm not old by any means, but being older, I see like punky teenage kids, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, what a little punk. You know what I mean? So, I mean, no offense if you're younger watching this, I'm not talking about you specifically, I'm just saying I definitely have a different mindset the older I get, and I think it happens to everyone. As you age, you just think differently, that's all. Your priorities are different, what you're looking for in life is completely different, what excites you is completely different. It's actually kind of funny if you really think about it. But anyway, I'm just saying, you know, I'm sorry ladies, I don't know why they stiff you on the pocket space there. They're being really cheap with it. I have to just assume it's fashion related, but it's silly. You know, it really is. They should definitely give you guys some bigger pockets. You can keep the exact same aesthetic. No one knows what's going on the underside here. This could be a fake pocket. It can come to here. It can go down to here. It could be like a clown pocket, okay? That's like 18 inches long, you know? I just don't understand why they give you such small pockets. And it's not because overall men's pants are physically bigger than women's. There's obviously big ladies and there's small guys. There's all kinds of sizes, but I feel like if you went shopping with your lady, and you looked at the smallest, like a size 0, and then you looked at a size 16 or 18 or 22 or whatever, look at the biggest pants you could find on the rack versus the smallest, I'm almost guaranteeing that the pockets aren't going to be substantially bigger. They may be slightly bigger, just like guys' pants. Again, I have to assume, and you guys can let me know too, if you're a very small guy and you're wearing really, really small, like if you're wearing size like 28 or 30 waist jeans, let me know. Do you guys have small pockets too? Maybe I don't know about it. I don't talk to a lot of guys about their pocket space, but I do talk to women occasionally about their pocket space because they're complaining out loud and I'm listening to it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.